Uh, right now, um, nothing should have changed in your life besides one big fact, and that it's a new year. And with a new year, a lot of people kind of start looking ahead to the new election cycle, right? And I know, like, a lot of people, they don't care. They get up, they go to work, they do the same thing over and over again. Doesn't really matter, right? But what's different about this election cycle is that now, um, it seems more like the fate of the future of the nation is involved, at least to a lot of people, right? To me, the world's been ending since I was like 10. Whether it be climate change with Al Gore, or whether it be, um, you know, 2012, or whether it be COVID or whatever. The world has been ending constantly, right? And people who believe that the world is going to be ending are going to be in a constant state of stress, and they're always going to believe that the world is ending and that there's nothing they can do. However, they're going to continuously talk about it. So we know for a fact that the world is not ending. That things are the same. However, in terms of the intersectional dynamics, there are going to be some things you should probably look for the future. I believe that it's not that like, women aren't going to change overnight. Men aren't going to change overnight. But there are things that you guys should look out for, and things that have been going on since 2023 that will seep into 2024 and kind of accelerate, right? And these all have to do with intersectional dynamics. Nothing, there are no accidents, right? Like Master Oogway says, um, everything happens for a reason, and people do things for reasons. They do things deliberately, right? I need you guys to understand that with women, they do everything deliberately, and it may not be the smartest thing, but they do things for a reason, and they do things because they know it gets them um, attention. They know it gets them outrage, and they know it gets them that indignation fix that they need, right? So if you guys really look at what's going on right now, um, with online, the traditional conservative women, like, everything they do online, let's say women in general, that one is a lot has to do with outrage. How can I piss people off? How can I ride that thin line between tee I'm just a innocent victim, and I'm just trying, and um on the other side of that, it's, I'm actually trying to get female male attention to further my brand and further my purposes. um but yeah, I feel like I'm a little blurry. Am I blurry? Huh, maybe I'm, whatever. uh but yeah, so understand that this all stems from women's mating strategies, and the way they go about, surviving. And it's built within them. All women are like this, and they will continue to be like this on all fronts, right? And until we evolve differently, which is going to take hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of years. So don't count on women changing anytime soon. Um, but what you're seeing now is basically the election year, as I predicted, is going to be more decided by women, because first off, us guys, we're kind of checking out of politics, right? Most guys don't even care that much, right? Most of the guys back when I was in college, or sorry, not college, back when I was in the military, when Donald Trump was running for president and won presidency, a lot of us did talk about politics, and we cared, and we kind of, we exchanged ideas, and the memes. People were very involved, at least in their own lives, with what was going on in the country. We paid attention. But now it seems like none of my friends now, or anyone I know, really cares about this stuff anymore, right? I think a lot of guys are realizing that, hey, like, society doesn't really care about them, especially after the pandemic. Society doesn't care about them that much. Politicians were really fast to shut down their jobs, shut down their life, and leave them out to dry, and they just didn't care. And then you had the racial tension in the country mid 2020. So I got a lot of guys after 2020 kind of learned their lesson in terms of politics, and how little the politicians really cared about them as men. Um, and then, there's much more lessons about this, right? So the guys are checking out. Not only are they checking out from politics, they're checking out from, like, Many things, right? Girls don't like this. They call these guys losers. They call them, whatever. So, because they have decided not to serve the gynecologist social order in full like they used to. When they play that men aren't men anymore, what they're saying is men aren't supporting the gynocentric social order that I benefit from like they used to, right? Because the thing is with traditional conservative women and traditional conservative men, is that they want you to be more of a man. They want you to be more. They want you to lift weights. They want you to vote Republican. They want you to do everything, but it's for women. They want you to do it for. They want you to do all these things for women. None of what they say has anything to do with your mental point of origin, right? And that's the problem here with this girl with the cake, right? Because here's the thing: there are endless promiscuous women, endless women that are more promiscuous and less promiscuous than her, doing this stuff every day, 24/7, all the time, right? I like to sit on my reels when I'm on the toilet in the morning before work and scroll through Instagram and have a laugh, right? And then I'll find some kind of schizo Patrick Bateman montage on reel, and I think it's hilarious, right? Or some gym humor or bro humor, or actually really good humor on reels. I enjoy it. It's my entertainment in the morning as I'm like waking up, right? Now, what's happening now is that I scroll through these reels and it's just like every four reels, there's just some kind of like turbo thought, with big boobs or big ass doing something that normal but scantily dressed. And then you're just like, okay, this is like an advertisement for her OnlyFans or for her, whatever brand. She's hypersexualizing herself, right? But here's the thing, guys. Like, they're doing this with something that's called plausible deniability, right? And that we're gonna get into that later, you know. So, what's up, Glenn? How you doing? I think it popped. Okay. What's up, Glenn? How you doing? They don't want you to be a man. They want you to be their definition of man. Exactly. They just want you to be a better servant, basically. And the thing is, guys, you don't have to be a better man for anyone except yourself. And that's it, point blank, period. There is no improving for society. You improve for yourself. You don't owe society anything, right? Especially you guys that serve in the military. You've already done your time. Guys that are cops, guys that do just having a job where you support infrastructure in general, whether it be a plumber, whether it be anything that makes society run better or run in general. You're already doing enough for society. You're paying taxes too. Like, what else do they want from you? To marry women that made bad choices in their 20s, and now you have to man up. Now, that's not to say, hey, we dislike women in general. I don't care about them. Like, just like they don't care about me. Like, I see a woman, I hold the door open for her. She opens the door open for me. We'll have a conversation in the coffee line. My boss is a female. She's great. She helps me out, and I help her out. Like, yeah, it's not like you have to be so altruistic and step forward and be like, hey ladies, I swear I love you guys. Like, no, you don't have to. I don't know you. Like, when a girl tries to say, hey, you don't like women, I'm like, yeah. It's not like I don't like women. It's just like I don't know you, so I don't owe you a positive, straight out the gate compliment or judgment, because you are what you are, right? Like, I personally don't like if you say, hey, I don't care about Dominicans. I'd be like, yeah, I don't even care about them. Every Dominican is their own person. Or I don't care about brown people. I don't care about Navy veterans. Or I don't care. Whatever I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. You're not supposed to care about people you don't know. Like, that's okay. But I went off a little bit on a tangent. But for the most part, guys, the ultimate thing is that they don't want you to be your mental point of origin, right? And here's the thing: in order to be happy, okay, not happy, in order to live life and not go crazy, and to be and keep your sanity about you, you must become your mental point of origin, right? They're trying, just like guys are trying to put the genie in the bottle with women that hypersexualize themselves online. Women are trying to put the genie in the bottle and trying to get guys who are competent, attractive, put to get them back in the bottle too. So what do they use? Both sexes use shame to try to get people like that back into the bottle, right? Back to where we belong, right? They try to get men. Hey, you need to go back. You need to get married. I'm like, okay, well, when I'm ready. No, you need to get married now. And to a woman who's a single mom or who's hitting the wall or who's this or who's that, go back to church, be a man of God. I'm like, no, I'm trying to do what I want to do because I have my own point of work, right? And the thing they got is shame. That's it. They don't have anything else. Like understand that, guys. Like no matter what someone says on the internet, the only tool they have against you is shame. And does shame work on a guy who is his own point of origin? Absolutely not. I've been called terrible things, right? And also, you shaming other people doesn't work either. I want you to understand that, right? Now, for this cake batter girl, cake girl, I don't know what you guys want to call her. If you guys have a funny name to call her, let me know in the chat. Um, Here's the thing: one guy messaged her who was married with kids, kind of like a flirty, cringy message, right? And then called her out, like, oh, whatever. Sure, great. She latched onto that. Now she want, like all men are bad, blah blah. The whole thing, like shame. Now she has something to shame, and women can get their indignation fixed. Everyone is like feeding off this indignation, right? Because that's what women come to Twitter for. They don't come to Twitter to get informed. They don't come to Twitter for like banter. They don't come to Twitter for their news. They come because they want to feel angry. They're looking for that reason to dislike men, right? Problem is that in real life, people aren't so bad like they present themselves on X, on Twitter. So they have to keep continuously go to Twitter, get that fix about rage and anger and I hate someone, something, or what they represent, and they get it. So uh, she posted that the guy is super cringe for doing that, right? And that's okay. Guys make mistakes. Hopefully he's gonna pay. Yeah, he had to close his account and all that stuff. Um, and great, but understand too, guys, that there's girls that are sliding in my, why are you doing this? And then several of my friends who make content too, or it's the same. We have women who supposedly have boyfriends, supposedly are happy in our DMs. Now they won't say stuff like, "Oh, daddy, you're so hot" or something like that, but they will like kind of like you and just like, why are you in some strange man on the internet's DMs? You have a boyfriend, you have a husband, you're supposedly happy. So this shit goes both ways, guys. Like women are trying to be this holier than thou. I'm a perfect creature. I can do no wrong, right? But on the same side, they're the same. Men and women are equally as shitty and equally as good, right? And what they're trying to do, anyone that tells you that men are better or that women are better, you know, constantly has a bone to pick personally with the opposite gender, right? And that's not true. Men and women are equally shitty and equally good. Now, are women more delusional? Yes, women are very delusional, right? But if you guys separate the dumb choices they make with men and look at them as a person, they're all right. They're just normal people. The only thing now is that the only way path forward in order to not dislike women and not lose your mind, right, is to simply learn intersexual dynamics. That way, when something comes up in which you could be hurt, whether it be mentally or financially or anything, you have the tools to act correctly in order to, you know, because a lot of guys end up disliking or hating women, unfortunately, because they become victim to women's innate behavior, right? And I'll tell you right now, guys, you don't want to be there. You don't want to be hating women forever because it consumes you and it's going to take years of your life, right? You are entitled to your anger, and you're entitled to like be lost and broken because society lied to you for your whole life, right? And you got tricked into thinking that women were a certain way, or if you did something, you would get this, right? You're allowed to be mad because of that. However, you can't stay there forever. You only get one life, and the years you spent angry at women and not out there enjoying them for what they are, you'll never get back. You don't want to be there. You want to be able to and move on and figure out where you stand with the gender. They are 50% of the world. They are in leadership positions. A lot of them are very powerful, and understand too that they also are hurting because this new technological advancement called the internet kind of like turn everything crazy, and they don't know what to do either. So but yeah, he was stupid for doing that. Yeah, he's an idiot. Like, why would you do that? Like, especially if you have a wife and kids, man. Like, so stupid. What an idiot. Hold on. Uh, all right, let's see where we're at. Okay, so um, moving on, moving forward, right? All right, we got Glenn. Hey, I would have to say on average, yes, men and women are equally stupid, but currently women are displaying to be much more stupid than men, but that's due to no one telling them how stupid. Exactly. So what's going on now, guys, is that look at women as like an objective person. Like look at women as an objective person, and look at someone. You're looking at someone that constantly gets excuses made for them all the time for their behavior, right? They may have different times in their life where they are accountable, but like it's to their job, it's to their ex that left them, right? It's to the law. But for the most part, they don't really have so like I was saying, we've abandoned women, right? We let them to their own devices. We don't care about them anymore, right? And they don't really like that much, right? Because here's what happens. Um, it's like a child that you leave alone in a mansion. Like let's say you bring a whole bus full of women and you drop them off of children, right? You drop them off at a mansion and you say, "Hey girls, do whatever you want. We'll be back for you in a couple days, or we'll be back for you in a week." Right? And the girls enter the mansion, right? And none of them kind of think like, hey, let's chill, let's just have a sleepover, let's figure this out. And but no, the girls are like, they're children, right? So they go out, they eat. Some of them get sick from eating all the food in the fridge and all the candy and all that stuff. Some of them get hurt because they're swinging from the chandelier and they fall and they get hurt. Some of them get in fights with each other because they don't understand what it is to be around other people in respectable space. Like we just let them loose in this giant mansion, and then a week later we come pick them up and they're like, hey, why did you suck, we hate you, you're not good enough because whatever. And they're just like, wait, we gave you the freedom you wanted, we just let you play in the mansion by yourself, like what's going on, right? And the guys that try to hold these women accountable are like the guys on the windows outside of the mansion banging on them and be like, hey, stop swinging from that chandelier, or stop eating all the food, or stop fighting, or you know stop watching TV, like go to sleep, you have to take care of yourself. And then those guys can't get in. And then, guys like me who understand intersectional dynamics and women and game, we kind of slip in through the back door and we play Mario Kart with them and have a good time. And then we leave and we don't take accountability for them because we don't care. We kind of make, we are in it for ourselves, right? So what happens is the society comes back and says, "Hey, girls, how'd you enjoy your weekend in this big mansion full of toys, games, food, and all that stuff?" And they come out with broken bones, bruises, sick because they ate too much food. They're angry, and this is what the you're seeing on Twitter, right? Um, this is what happens. This is the end game of that of letting women do whatever the f they want. This is the end game, right? That's why you got to step back and be like, why are women like this on a societal level? It's because we literally abandoned them. We said, hey, good luck, right? And it's sad. And as a guy who's dated women casually and has seen the train wreck in motion, right? You guys think experiencing the wall or seeing a girl go through the wall is tough? How about you guys experience a girl who is 24 and you've dated her and you've like let her know, hey, like if you ever wanted to start a relationship, like I'm down, like you're a cool girl. And it's interesting because a lot of girls do not want relationships at all. Nothing. They like you can be a gentleman to them. I'm a gentleman to as long as they're in my frame, I'm a gentleman to all the women I date. I plan dates. If we're going out for a fancy night or for a dance night, I dress in a suit. I show investment, I show that I care. And then the other day, there's this girl I've been seeing for like 2 years, great gal. But she's that girl where I met her. She was 24, and she's on her way to her epiphany phase, and it's sad because it's like, hey, like not to get with me, but I even told her like, hey, if you're out there and you're dating guys like besides me, which is fine, I don't care. You're not mine. Um, Understand that like I'm the model of how you should be treated. Guys should plan dates for you. You should demand more than just being pumped and dumped, right? Like, and It's never gonna stop, guys. And then they're gonna get to their epiphany phase. It's a train wreck in motion. A lot of women are like they are train wrecks. They are heading towards disaster, and there's nothing we can do, right? And then when we do call them out, they get angry, right? And then they wonder why we've abandoned them. It's because we've given them the keys to the mansion, and some guys are like, "Hey, are you sure you want to be in there by yourself?" Like with no guidance, like you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get shocked, you're gonna stick a fork in a socket, or you're gonna eat too much food, or like, are you sure? Like you don't want to go in there with an adult to help you? Nope, nope. They'll like screw you. I'm gonna do whatever I want. And then at the end of the day, here we are, right? So I want you to understand that there's a lot of pain in with women who who live life and they kind of like do whatever they want because think about it, a human being, person who's never told no, right? What do you think their life's going to look like? Do you think they're going to be like super healthy by the time they're 29? Do you think they're going to have that insight and be like, maybe it is me? No, they're just going to keep doubling down on their own beliefs and eventually, boom, you know. So we failed them and now mad that they're disobedient or disobedient shit. Yeah, we've abandoned women, and it's really obvious in the way that society. And the thing is, like, they want me to like they like a lot of these tradcons. They either hate the red pill because we're degenerate, or they want to recruit us because we're rational people and we see what's going on, right? But the thing is, like, we're not putting this genie back in the bottle, right? Every man has to become his own point of origin and lay down the law in his life and live the way he sees fit in order for this to move in a positive direction, right? Because what happens is it's going to turn into an ideology. There's going to be a cult leader. They're going to destroy that cult leader. Then someone else is going to come to power, and it's going to be really weird. And at the end of the day, some guys are going to be like, "Screw this! I want to get laid. I don't care about all this," and so on and so forth, right? So yeah. White Rose, I think my fellow men are ultimately saddened by the boundaries they can never cross with women, whereas the closest they crave can only come from brotherhood. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So, how does this all tie in to intersexual dynamics? All right. So, cake gate or whatever, cake slut or whatever you want to call her. I don't know. Right. Um, guys, it's really simple. It's all plausible deniability, right? You guys know what plausible deniability is. Basically, men, women need a reason, and men just need a place, right? So when you guys are out dating, when you want to invite a girl um back to your place, essentially, you got to give her kind of like a reason. It may not be a good reason, you can tell, hey, I have a midget, want to see him, and it'll work. Um, but that's plausible deniability, right? Girls don't want to feel like they are promiscuous or sluts, but they love being sluts, right? Some of them are smart. They're like, I want to be a slut, but I want to be a slut for the right guy. Some of them are like, I just want to be a slut. I want the attention, adoration, and the you know the rush from being desired sexually from a man that's attractive, right? Whatever version of slut. But women want to be sluts, but they don't want to be judged, right? So you need to create a premise where, hey, I don't want to be. I want to make this girl feel like this just happened. Like, oh, she just so happened to come over to my apartment because I gave her a reason. They don't want. No girls ever. Very rarely are you going to tell a girl to her face and be like, "Hey, want to come back to my place and hook up?" Like that's unless she's really drunk or like really crazy or whatever. Like for the most part, you're going to have to create a reason, right? So plausible deniability. What does this have to do with what we're seeing right now on slutty women, on slutty traditional conservative women on online? Essentially, just like there are TikTok challenges where women do something slutty in the name of the challenge. Like, remember the camera that was facing above the sink and it's just single moms twerking, and they're like, oh, but it's just a challenge, everyone's doing it. That's plausible deniability, right? They are looking for any excuse to be a slut, especially online, and all they need is a reason and something that legitimizes and takes the focus off, hey, you did this because you just wanted to shake your ass, to, hey, you did this because this is a cult thing that everyone's doing and you wanted to participate. So that's the same thing with this baking stuff, right? These women see one girl, traditional girl, pretending to be pretending to be traditional online, which is whether it could be like baking or cooking or cleaning or whatever. And they're like, okay, cool. She's getting a lot of follows. This seems to be the new thing. It is an election year. I want to participate in this. And because this girl that's doing it is getting, a lot of follows, and also she's showing off a lot of her body. So a lot of guys are going to give her attention in the forms of likes, clicks, comments, follows, and she can eventually monetize it and ultimately maybe find a guy who she likes within that all that mess, right? Because that is like there's approximate goals and there's like goals that are far off in the future that you don't really think about, but that's the things you do now is why you do those things, right? Because you want to approach that goal and achieve it. So essentially, the girls see this just like a slutty girl will see the TikTok challenge where you have the camera above the sink, you're shaking your ass, um, right? The traditional women are the same, so they do this, and then here's a problem though. The traditional mindset is of modesty, right? Like modest, don't be a hoe, blah blah. The Christian values, right? And so they got to be extra careful when they do this stuff, right? Because they're writing a line, right? A girl that does a TikTok challenge, let's say to shake her ass or something like that, she doesn't have like an institution or an ideology that she's attached to. She's just some slut single mom on TikTok, right? And there's plenty of those on TikTok enough that where she'll feel like she's part of a collective of women that won't judge her, men that will simp for her and defend her, and not enough guys like me that'll be like, "Hey, you're kind of a hoe," right? So that's that's where the problem lies with this. So what happens is a guy will call him out and be like, "Hey, like it's obvious you're doing this. You're sexualizing yourself, right?" And they will lose their mind and they will recruit every simp and female apologizer to help them fight off our male rationale, right? This is a normal biological thing. It happens all the time, right? And the only way they can do this is through shame is the only tool they have. They can shame, 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 and then eventually, once once they get enough notoriety, things, they're achieving their goal of like, hey, whether it be bad or good, as long as I get attention, then I'm good. As long as I'm legitimized because of the way what I'm doing, right? Um, and that's all that's happening, guys. The same reason this trad women do slutty things online, it's the same reason that when you tell a girl, "Hey, want to come back to my place? I'll play piano for you," or "You want to see my piano? You want to see my puppy? You want to see this?" It's the same. It's the same concept. It's the same biological part of the woman's brain that she needs to be a slut. She needs to because that's how she procreates. But if the tribe found out that she was just sleeping with every single alpha that came along, they'd probably throw her out or not want to sleep with her or just not take her seriously or not like, hey, sleep with her, but I'm not giving you resources. Um, so they need to be very discreet about their sluttiness, right? So what they do is they say, hey, I'm not going to sleep with this guy unless he creates a premise to where I feel like I'm not a slut. That way I can feel comfortable because to me, men finding out promiscuous is life and death. That's why as we get closer to finding out about this girl's true past, like selling videos on Dropbox, sexualizing herself and all that stuff, that um eventually she's gonna fight harder and harder to the point where she's doxing Rolo's family. She will recruit people that from different parts of the internet to harm people, harm people's reputation. And it's not because she hates these people; it's that she is in protection. She's in survival mode right now, right? She'll protect. She'll Women like this will block you. Women like this because ultimately it backfired, right? Because she got a lot of attention and she's loving it, and she gets a lot of hate, and she also loves it, the indignation fix, right? But now it's like, oh crap, like I may have overstepped my power in this, and I may have done a little too much, and now a lot of people who may be important in the ideology I attach myself into are calling me out, and I'm screwed, right? So women, hell hath no fear like a woman scorned. She's going to go nuclear, um, no pun intended, and she's going to go out and hurt people, right? She's gonna dox people. She's gonna fight to. She's gonna go on the news. She's gonna go on podcasts. She's going to fight, 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 fight for her right in their mind to be a slut, because that is the conduit by which they find alphas, and by alphas they get resources and better genetics. It's that simple, guys. This is why plausible deniability is so important when you date. Is because you need to create a space where a woman does not feel like a slut, right? You need to create an excuse or a space. Hey, come back to my apartment. You're not here to have sex with me. You're here because you wanted to see my piano, or you wanted to see my, my pictures. You wanted to see my view. You wanted to see my puppy. That's why you're here for. And then if we hook up, it just happened. It was just like a magical thing that happened because of astrology and the stars and the vibe, right? Simple game lesson. And I hope you guys make that connection, right? Because at the end of the day, right, they can shame you as a guy. They can make fun of you as a guy. They can say you're insecure. They can say you hate titties. But I promise you, no one in this chat looked at her titties and be like, I hate her because she had big boobs. And like, we don't care, first off, because I don't have access to those titties. I don't care. I care about the titties in my life, right? I care about the titties in my phone that want to see me. I care about the titties that bring me food. I care about the titties that treat me right or in my frame. I don't care about some titties. They look nice, sure, but I don't have access to them. It doesn't matter. I don't feel insecure because here in real life, not Twitter, I'm doing okay with the titties, right? I don't look at this as some kind of like I'm insecure, right? I've been told insecure all the time my whole life. You got to come up with something better than that. And they kind of know that it's not going to change their minds, right? About that. No one's in here to get their minds changed. They just want to make you look bad. That's why they debate. That's why they do all these things. So ultimately, um, you don't want to end up in a position where you forget what you're seeing in front of you. Yeah, you know, this is intersexual dynamics, easily explained. Um, and I hope you guys see the connection, right? Plausible deniability is everything. Also understand that all women are feminists, right? Even the ones that say they're not, especially the ones that say they're not, right? If you guys don't realize this, she's recruiting men to defend her, right? And what is feminism? Hijacking men's innate need to protect and their fear of being ostracized from the community in order to further their own personal agenda. When I say personal, I mean personal, like not all women. I mean like personal, like themselves, right? Women say, "Oh, we got to fight for ladies all together." Throw one alpha in there, and it's all about her and getting that one guy, right? It is what it is, guys. So understand that no matter what women say, right? um, all women are feminists, right? Go start from there, right? They all believe in this kind of centrism crap. They all are trying to gaslight you, especially the trads. They're the most dishonest feminists, right? Because they say things like "men this, men that," submissiveness is, submissiveness that, but man, do they love acting like feminists, right? Just don't want the right because the label doesn't further their own agenda, which is in itself feminism. Feminism doesn't care about the only thing it cares about is putting women first and men second. That's all they care about, right? And they think that's better for society, but in reality, what they're saying is like that's better for me, you know. So, yeah, and like I was saying, all they have is shame. Like, if you guys are getting laid and have a rotation of girls, you think you're some internet girl is gonna shame you? You know, what? There's nothing a woman can do, right, to shame guys that are getting laid regularly and are happy. There's nothing they can do. They can fight, they can kick, they can scream, and that's what they hate the most. Like, hey, I'm traditional, and you're not upholding the values, right? And then they'll make threads about you. They'll slide in your DMs. I got women sliding in my DMs. Kind of be like, oh, your streams are stupid. I'm like, okay, great. Like, what do you, There's a song by the game. Um, I think it's called One Blood. right? It came out like in 2000, what, 2004, 2003, by The Game. And it basically, he there's a lyric inside that, in that song, that says like, they say I got beef with 50, they say I got beef with Ye, but what's beef when you're getting head in the sixth tray? And I'm like, yeah, I can live by that, because at the end of the day, you can fight, you can argue, you can shame guys who get it, but guys, when you have hot women in your life, like, there's really not much that can bother you, right? Like, a guy can call me whatever names, but like, hey, dude, I'm living in my own mental point of origin, right? I'm outside the cell. Like, I've got the key and I open the lock to my own cell, and I'm leaving the cell and discovering my powers and living life, right? And that's all you got. So, um, and again, this is all an excuse for women to be sluts, right? So apart from that, what else is gonna like kind of like be the biggest thing in 2024 in terms of dating and like intersexual dynamics and all that stuff? Well, like I said on Rule Zero, it's gonna be the language, right? Language is the most powerful tool feminists have to change the cultural landscape of things. You have to be very careful with language, guys, because language does affect the way you think. There's theories and studies where, like, if you use certain language, whether it be a foreign language like Spanish or I don't know, French or something like that, or just words, that it changes your way of thinking, right? Like, I personally, when I speak Spanish, I kind of think a little bit differently. I kind of feel like I'm in a different mode of thought, if that makes sense. If you guys speak two languages, let me know if you feel the same way. But when I speak English, I think differently, right? And then, now that words mean things to different people, but if you keep saying a word, it could kind of change the way you think about stuff, right? Like, back in the day, if you said, you would call women your girlfriend, your honey, your baby, your your girl, my woman, my wife, right? Now we say partner. And even I see a lot of red pill content creators say that too. My partner, my partner, my partner. Like, that is very egalitarian. That's like meaning that there's someone there, that the person you're with is your equal, right? And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want my girl to be 6 feet tall, look like me, strong, bench and deadlift like me, and talk like me, and be angry. Like, no, I want to be soft, feminine, thin. Obviously, it'd be nice if she worked out, um, all that stuff. I don't want her to be my equal. I want her to be my complementary, right? But this word partner subverts that, right? And now we're having like, it's gone to the point where, like, the women have been joining the dating discourse, right? And they keep using this word because in their mind relationships are 50-50, right? And that's not true. And you guys know that's not true. Relationships are not some kind of like exchange where you guys pull out a spreadsheet of how you exchange things and run them down the line. In order for a relationship to work, the girl has to be the muse, and the guy has to be, you know, it has to be like the girl worships the guy almost, basically. And girls don't like hearing that because it makes them feel like they failed feminism, like they failed their feminist sisters, and that they're getting taken advantage of. Right. But that's not true. It's actually the opposite. Right. I can do more for you if you worship me. When I say worship, I mean, like, have that genuine burning desire for me. I can do more for you. Right. Because if you're not causing me problems, I can work harder. If you're giving me sex, and I can focus more on what's in front of me. If you're coming into my life and finding my life and be loving and feminine, you're only going to make me work harder and be better for you. Does it always pan out? No, but that's life. There's no perfect answers. But that's basically what it should be like. But it's not. To them, it's like, oh, I'll fit you where you can fit in my life, and we'll see what happens. And guys, I see this all the time. Like, a lot of, like, especially my mother, a lot of females that bitch and complain in my replies or in my messages. They'll be like, "Oh, why don't you find a good girl? Why aren't you trying? You're just out there breaking hearts." And I'm like, "No, like, listen. The biggest part of why I'm single, right? There's two reasons why I'm single, right? Um, and because I had my fun, I feel like I've enjoyed myself enough to the point where, like, I know pretty much everything there is to know about women. But the reason number one is the obesity epidemic. A lot of women are fat, right? And I can't, or and if they're not fat, they have bad health habits. I'm like, I cannot be with a woman that is not healthy, right? That doesn't put in the work in the gym or some kind of activity. And I can't be with someone like that, right? Life is long, and we want to live long. And I don't want to be with someone that doesn't prioritize their health, right? Like I don't want to be with someone like that. And number two, crap. Number two is that women don't want to be in relationships, or and if they do, they want you to be like kind of fit in into their life. Like I'm supposed to be like some kind of like I'm supposed to mold my life to you, right? That's a lot of women, right? Like I get like told like one day before, hey, I'm free tomorrow. What we doing? Like today, I got a text from a girl. Hey, I'm free tomorrow. What we doing? I'm like, excuse me, like I'm going out tomorrow. I have plans tomorrow. Like you disappear for a couple days, or you have a job or a life where you can't, like she's a flight attendant. Oh, I'll just show up whenever I want, and you have to. I'm like, no, that's not how this works, right? Like I'm the prize here, and if you wanna get with me, obviously I have a little bit of wiggle room, right? But if like you're just saying the day before, hey, we're going out tomorrow, I'm like, excuse me, no, like you don't just get to like exist and get my time, right? I'm not that desperate for you, right? And that's the message you send. That doesn't mean I dislike her. Doesn't mean I'm trying to teach her a lesson. It's just like, hey, y- my mental point of origin is that hey, when I feel like going out with you, I will, right? I am not going to change my worldview or my life around because I want to get with you, right? Which I already did, but like, I already got with her several times, but like, um, you need to protect yourself against this behavior from women. And a lot of people again will be like, "Why don't you find a good girl?" It's just like, listen, in order to find yourself a good girl these days, what I'm seeing is that women just want a placeholder, right? A guy that they can just boop, I'll have him here, and then whenever something comes along better, oh, that's why they have boyfriends and they still go to Miami trips and girls' nights in Las Vegas. That's why they don't really post their men that much. That's why um, women only want to see me like once a week, um, and all that. It's because to them, men are just we're just not important anymore. They're like lukewarm and all that stuff. Like the attraction is lukewarm. Essentially what they do is that they're just trying to find a guy to keep their body count low. So they find one or two guys they can hook up with, and that's it, right? And they just don't, and also a lot of women's ability to pair bond is fried, right? So they try, they give it their best shot. Um, so yeah, the landscape is changing, and I want you guys in 2024 to kind of like look at this and be like, hey, got to be careful, and this is what's down the pipe, right? So yes, language is going to be the biggest driving factor in changing the way people think about relationships. So be very, very careful. She's not your partner; she's your girlfriend or your wife. She's not your partner; she is your girl. She is a girl you hook up with, right? And that's another thing with the word partner. It could be just a girl you're hooking up with. What do we used to call those? Side chick or something like that. They don't like that. Women don't like that. Language of emotions. So they say, "Oh, your partner." And I'm like, "No, she's not my partner. We're not equal. She's just a side chick, and she wants to be a side chick. She doesn't want the responsibility of being a girlfriend, right? It's too much work for her. She wants to be free, so she is a side chick. A girl that's not in a relationship but hooking up with a dude is a side chick. That's what we always call it since the 90s. You are a side chick. You're not a partner, right? You are a side chick, right? Language is language. Language is powerful, right? You see how like that word side chick can make a girl feel like used and like she's using me. It's just like because we're using each other, right? Welcome to reality. We're not partners. We're not sex partners, right? That's something you say in a clinic when you're getting your balls checked for gonorrhea. You know, in real life, it's just chicks we hook up with, right? We need to start. The language we use is what's going to drive this new dating scene. You need to be very careful with the language they use because if you're not careful, man, you'll be saying stuff like partner. Oh yeah, this girl that I hook up once a week, she's my partner. No, dude, no, she isn't. She's just a girl you hook up with. Don't. She's not that important, right? It's not. She's not yours. It's just your turn. She'll leave whenever she feels it's inconvenient to be with you, right? And then she'll come back when it's convenient, right? You can't control this. Let them go or let them come back, right? She's not your partner. Partner is like you're my partner in my law firm. Partner is like, hey, you're my partner for you're my sparring partner if we do combat sports, you know. But partner is not my wife. Partner, because and that's the thing. They're trying to legitimize all relationships under one umbrella because to make women feel less bad about their choices too, right? So again, let's go back to the word partner. Like your wife could be your partner, or some girl that is a side chick that you hook up with once in a while because she wants to be a slut. She's living her slut reality, her slut years, right? Both of those are your partner to them. No, my wife is my wife. My wife won. My wife did the thing she needed to do to get me. That's my wife. The girl that's a side chick is a side chick. She's a girl that I have to use protection with because I don't know what she's doing out there. She's a girl that if if she ghosted me, I'd be like, I guess she found some other guy. That's a big difference between your wife and some chick. And that's what they want to do with this language stuff. So that's what I say. Be careful again with the language. The language is what they're going to use to change the way people think about stuff, right? I am not your partner. You are not my partner. You know, you're my wife. There is a tier system. They want to do away with the tier system for women, right? Being a one night stand hookup to being a side chick to being a potential girlfriend and trying to being a girlfriend to being a fiance to being a wife. That's women's tier system in terms of achievement in their lives, right? And they want to do away with that by saying, hey, actually, we're all just partners being partnered with each other. No, hell no, man. They can go screw themselves. That's not how that works, right? That you're gonna take away our power, and I'm like, no, that's not how that works. Um, so yeah, language is their ultimate weapon. Um, there's other words, right? I'm sure you guys will probably start catching on. There's other words that they use to change how people think and all that stuff, right? But partners tends to be one of the big ones. I'm trying to think of another word right now. If you guys can think of another word, let me know in the chat. But like toxic masculinity is one. Um, oh, the psychological terms, right? They have attachment styles and all that stuff. They have was it Myers Briggs? They have astrology. They have all these things to cover up the bad decisions that women make. You have to be careful because again, that's all part of language, right? Oh, I have an anxious attachment. That's why I am a bad person to you. I'm like, no, you're just a bad person, right? Stop making excuses, right? Every year, every couple of years, there's this new iteration of fantasy woo-woo stuff, whether it be psychology or astrology or a mixture of both or whatever. Like love language and all that stuff. And they use this. It's all part of the language complex to get you to think a certain way. Like the five languages. What are your five love languages, right? And I always have to ask, like, giving or receiving. Like on a date, I'm okay. I'll love language myself my way into some ass all the time, right? Um, but I will say that it's a very interesting kind of like word selection, love languages, right? Like love languages. Yeah, like how do you like to receive love? And I was like, well, women usually say, well, like I like gifts. And I'm like, oh shit, you like getting gifts. Okay, cool. And I like quality time, right? And you're just like, okay, cool. And then you say, well, I like touch them. And they're like, oh, all men like touch. That's what they all say. I was like, Jesus Christ. And that's like that easy way to shame men and all that stuff. But like ultimately, use this chick crack bullshit stuff to your advantage all times. Flip language, like everything else, flip it to your advantage and realize this that that all these iterations of psychology and language and changing the way we define relationships is going to be a big driving factor in 2024, right? And partner is that word that really kind of like changed the game for good, right? Because and I know you guys think that, man, oh, this isn't real life. I'm like, this is real life. The partner stuff is real life, right? The other day, a couple months ago, maybe 2 months ago, I went walking my dog, right? And I saw a chick with a nice rack, and you know, my dog went up to her and started sniffing. I'm like, all right, time to run some dog game, some puppy game. So we start talking. I grabbed her number, right? And when I was talking to her on Instagram or on the phone or through text, trying to set up a date, she said, "Yeah, I'm ethically non-monogamous, or I'm in an open relationship. My partner, this, that." I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like that's normal, right? That's why partner is such a powerful word, because it normalizes a lot of things and it puts everything into one box. Like, hey, the person you have sex with is your partner, regardless if they are respectable, regardless if they're fucking other people, regardless if they have the key to your heart and a ring and they're your wife. Like, you know. So yeah. Oh, X Runner, you funny guy. My love language is hack, hack, ak, guac, Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Shut the Your love language is like you like to have sex. Like, oh, and here's another one, hookup culture. Oh, hookup culture, like hookup culture. There's no hookup culture. Like, culture is like defined by like music and people's language and people getting together and having traditions. Hookup culture is like women that like to have sex. And they say hookup culture because whenever something is like only women's fault, right? And can be you can point the finger at women, they try to make it about everyone, right? And it's like, oh shit, it's hookup culture that women are being taken advantage of. And I'm like, no, it's because they open their legs, right? Again, we've abandoned women, and one of the mechanisms by which we abandon women is making up language so they can feel better about their choices, even though if their choices hurt other people and they feel bad, right? So when people say hookup culture, they're basically saying we don't want to make women feel icky about their choices, even though if their choices like ruin men's lives and their own lives. So we'll just call it a culture. Like, we're all so confused and we don't know what we're doing. We don't have. We're just and buy cigarettes. You know, but you're too dumb to like take accountability for your actions. You know. So what happens is we use the word hookup culture, but in reality, it's woman fucking. Women open up their legs to multiple men. Yeah, let's just call it what it is. And 2024 will be full of that. It'll be full of words and terms and language which will absolve women of the bad choices they make and the ways they hurt others, right? And it may not be a single word or a single phrase. It may be a whole like article. Like, the article I reference a lot is that there's an article that says millennials are going into debt because of dating, right? And you're just like, oh, that sucks. But think about it, guys. Think, who's paying for dates? Not not women. I'm paying for. I mean, I got my last date paid for, but that's because I've been seeing this girl for a while, and she's a unicorn in terms of those kind of things, right? So, 95% of the time, women are not paying for dates, right? So who's going into debt for dating? Men. But since they don't want to make women look like gold diggers and they're wasting men's money, right? Because of the courting process, they say millennials are going broke or going into credit card debt in order to date. And you know, everyone feels good because you're not attacking women or saying holding women accountable, instead you're saying millennials. And that, guys, that's going to be more of it in 2024. So, yeah. Hello, Nuke. Hello, chat. What's up? What's going on, Swerve? How you doing? Um, but yeah, uh, cool. Let's see. I'm trying to think of another word. If there's another word or language that that they use in order to like, hmm, yeah. Um, and then they're gonna like, oh, incel. The word incel is a big one. Like, hey, incel. It used to mean weird guys on the internet that couldn't get laid. Like just a couple weird guys that had trouble getting laid, right? And um now it's like any guy I don't like, anything I don't like is incel culture. It's just like, what the hell? How do we get here, right? And it's because women are driving this election cycle. The morality, the heart of the nation, the moral crisis that this nation has. Women are going to be the ones that ultimately judge what the nation needs, right? Because we're living in a gynocentric social order, right? So women will say shit like, incels are ruining everything, and we got to watch them and all that stuff, right? But in reality, like, no, they're not really doing anything, right? They're just on forums playing video games and going to sleep at night. Like, it's really easy to be an incel these days. You just got to not do something, not do anything. Really easy. It's like less calories. Um, but here's the problem now that, like, it's not that they're only calling them incels. They're calling me and anyone that disagrees with women, anyone that tells men to be their own point of origin and stop supporting things that don't serve them personally, right? Um, Men that say, "Hey, the church is feminized now." Oh, you're just an incel. You're one of those red pill guys, right? Hey, women are like this. This is the reality about women. It's unflattering, but you have to understand this in order to be happy and to be content and live your life. Oh, you're an incel. You're hateful and all that stuff. I'm like, no, no, that's not what it is. We just want guys to enjoy women for what they are, not for what they could never be, right? Then they have the red pill. Red pill is like synonymous with incels. Those red pill guys, and then like each 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 way of thinking puts the molds the red pill into their own villain, like the villain that they need, right? Like every Batman needs a Joker, and the red pill is the Joker now, and every way of thinking is like, oh, those red pill guys are this. They're the opposite of us. They're the guys that we have to overcome and beat, right? Traditional conservative will say those red pill guys are the ones telling men not to get married and be better husbands and marry those sluts, right? That's my fault. Like this me in my little apartment. Well, it's not little, but like in me in my apartment with my shy little anxious Shiva and my piano and my little YouTube channel, and I'm gonna convince grown ass men to not get married, right? All we say is like, hey, dude, it's not the best deal, but if you're gonna do it, make sure you go in with a little bit of knowledge. And we're like the fate of the universe, the fate of the country is rests on our shoulders. And it was like on their shoulders, and they have to defeat us. I'm like, no, that's not true. Women are the ones that made marriage bad, not us. We're just calling it like we see it, right? um and then like for the left, red pill guys, we're kind of like, um I don't even know what the left even thinks of us anymore. Oh, we don't like women. We want to hurt them. We want to mistreat them. We want to dominate them. We want them all at home, um, barefoot and get pregnant in the kitchen. And then I'm like, no, that's not what we are either. But they need us to be that. They need to make up fake stories about what red pill is in order because they need a boogeyman and realize like right now there's not a real boogeyman. Like, they're all uniting against us, right? It's all uniting against one common enemy, and the common enemy is going to be red pill guys. And I think another prediction for 2024 is that whatever side loses, they're going to blame the red pill, right? So if conservative Republicans lose, it was a red pill, right? If the liberals lose, it's the red pill. Like they're going to blame us for um for losing. And that's just the way it is, guys. And the thing is, like, the funny thing is, like, that's not. They can say that all we want, but like, the information is there. You take it, you improve your life, and you get out. Like, it's not like some kind of like Legion of Doom, right? And they'll never understand or accept it. They'll always be like, oh, those red pill guys, led by Commander Rolo, and his red pillion forces across the southern border attack our little damsels in distress and take advantage of that. I'm like, guys, yeah, the things I'm seeing right now in real time in my life, dating women, right? And seeing the lengths at which women go to ruin and destroy their own lives, their own ability to pair bond, their own ability to live happy lives in the future. You guys would, not you guys, but like they would see that and be like, they would grant men an apology, men like me an apology, right? I have all the reason to be black pill. I've seen some pretty crazy stuff in my lifetime that women have done to men around me, and I've seen how women's behavior nowadays, young women, right? Not trad 29, 28-year-old women cooking and baking online with their, with a size extra small shirt, right? I'm talking about women that are 24, 25 that I meet and we hook up, right? And then I see them like, okay, this girl, we have a connection. She's great. And they tell me, like after a month of us hooking up, like, oh, I was on Hinge the other day and I met this guy and he said this weird stuff, but whatever. And I'm just like, yo, we're hooking up. Like, you don't have to tell me that, please. And it's just like the woman's sexuality now is so it's open hypergamy is so open and so in our face, right? And I just wish, like, hey, I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your body, right? But Jesus Christ, like Jesus Christ, like we're hooking up. Like, sorry to get a little too crass and intimate with you guys. Please excuse me. But like, I slapped you and spit in your mouth the other day, like, and you're just casually talking to me about other men, like, this is where we're at, and they try to blame me, men that understand and get women. I'm like, you don't understand. Like, you don't understand. Women are like different now. Not because they were different before, but because they are allowed to be what they really are, right? This like the dating scene. The reason why everyone's like so doesn't know what to do with this because we unleash a savagery on the world that people are just like, what the hell, and no one knows what to do, right? The only people that get it close enough to give you tools so you don't go insane is the red pill, right? And that's because of PUA knowledge and a little bit of science and a little bit and mostly observation and figuring out what works, right? But like guys don't like society at large does not know what to do with this problem of open hypergamy. They have no idea. Look at this girl, look at the cake slut, look at her, look at this example, look how crazy everyone is because of this one chick. They don't know what to do. No one knows what to do. They're defending her. They're arguing against her. She's doxing people. People are doxing her. Everyone's fighting. No one knows what to do. And this is global, guys. This is like I see in her every single woman I've ever dated the same qualities that not because they are bad people, right? But because they were given godlike powers and they're hurting themselves because we left them alone in a mansion to do whatever they want all the time, right? And they're hurting themselves, and guys are trying to save them, and they're getting hurt too. And we're simply like, hey, I gotta watch out for myself, or I'll go crazy. So I'm not gonna get involved in any of this, right? Whether it be get married and have kids and do my own thing, or date around, make yourself your own port of origin. Your way out of all of this, right? So it's so strange that on one side I'm looking at this and the trads are like, like you should be a better man and you're a degenerate. And the girls too, you're degenerate and you need to stop your lifestyle and all you care about is pleasure. And then I'm looking out on the other side at the women I date, personally, which I am a gentleman to them. Um, and they're just like telling me about other men, um, you know, uh complaining, like, hey, you know, we can't hook up this week because I got this disease or something like that. And I'm just like, Jesus freaking Christ, And I'm like, what do you do? And the thing is, there's nothing you can do, right? I say, oh hey, I'm sorry you had that and all that, right? And then it gets sad, right? And this is why I say, like, if you guys are gonna do this dating thing, you really guys want to get out there, understand that there's gonna be a lot of realities that are gonna be tough, right? They're gonna be tough to kind of like take in, right? There's gonna be women that are gonna be perfect girlfriend material, right? They're like they're gonna cook for you, they're gonna clean for you, they're gonna do whatever you want sexually, they're gonna be modest, they're gonna be great girls, but they're not gonna want to get in a relationship with you. There's gonna be girls that just come over, starve for sex, eat your food, and then complain that you're not wifing them up in 3 weeks, right? And this stuff, that stuff over time, you're just like, wow, like this is what it really is. And the people that don't date or been or don't understand intersexual dynamics, they're gonna look at that stuff and are gonna be like, you're wrong, Nuke. You're doom pilled, or you're too white pilled, or you're too black pilled, or you're too this, or you're too that. I'm like, no, dude, I'm too reality pilled. I am red pilled, meaning I take what I see in front of me, I accept a reality, the reality that suits me, and the way of thinking that suits me, and I move forward with that, and I live a happier life, right? And I'm telling you right now, like the things I've seen, and on things I'm seeing, and these every woman I see is a train wreck. It's all a train wreck, right? Obviously, um, a lot of women will stick the landing, right? But I always say, hey, you're gonna get your revenge fantasy, but you're not gonna like it. It's gonna make you feel bad, right? A lot of guys that still get off on the revenge fantasy stuff, I'm telling you, once you start dating, get to know women, and you get out there, right, and meet a couple girls, you start really getting digging into their personal lives. You're gonna be like, holy crap, what have we done? You know, what have we done as a society? There are girls that are 24 traveling alone to foreign countries, right, hooking up with random dudes. 24 years old, right? In comes Nuke, 34 years old, dates them, takes them out on a date. They like me. We hook up. I have a lot to lose, so I say, hey, we got to use a condom. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, we got to use a condom. I don't know you. I don't know you like that. Um, Send her home in the morning, make her some coffee, and then I wait and I wait. Oh, it's been 24 hours. She hasn't texted me. Then I realize, like, oh, um, while the internet and the world looks at guys that are like me, like red pilled guys, as the enemy, we're looking at the world and be like, hey, we're just accepting the world the way the world is. And you guys see us as a conduit to the reality that you hate. And I'm telling you guys, not you guys, but them, like, hey, when a woman wears extra small shirt and is spilling cake batter all over her stomach and has been known to sell pictures of herself to men and likes to share her body, um, you know, she's doing it for male attention, not because of baking. It's really obvious. Oh, Nuke, I'm like, why do you care so much? Well, because here's the thing: it's the longhouse, right? Because in other tweets you say porn is bad. I'm like, okay, cool, sure, you're a traditional conservative. That's what you have to say. That's like it's like saying 9/11 bad, and everyone's like, yeah, 9/11 is bad. Like, we want to vote for you. Like that scene from Family Guy, right? Um, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then she says, I'm not an OF girl. I'm gonna be someone's wife and mother one day. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't think I would like to see my mom doing that as a kid ever, like cooking. I wouldn't want to see my mom online or on Twitter at all. I would want to see my mom spending time with me and my brother, and being good to my dad, and cooking and taking us out for ice cream. Mom things. Um, having like things that I enjoy doing with my mother, having movie nights with my mom, watching Disney movies with her. She would fall asleep first, but I wouldn't want my mom to be like arguing with red pill, broken hearted men like me on the internet. Like, what the heck? That isn't, like whatever. They don't have the introspection to understand that. But anyways, yes. So anyway, yeah. Sorry, I got a little dark, guys, but booty scratcher, Nuke. I just talked to a girl I alpha widowed back in our 20s. Later, I found out she is on divorce process with her husband. These girls are broken, no ability to pair bond. Yeah, I would say, guys, again, it's like no one ever like tells them no. No one ever says, hey, you're not like the people in their lives that they are accountable to, which is their employer, um, their family members, and the man that they love. None of those people are even telling them, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. Right? They just continue to double down on their behavior, right? More and more until one day, like they're 29 and unable to get a man, and life's hard, and They have to deal with illness by themselves. They have to deal with hard times in their life by themselves. And you realize, like, hey, it wasn't that we as men didn't step up. It's because the few people in her life that were supposed to tell her, hey, you can't do this, or hey, you're a loser, do this, didn't do it. So now she's gonna blame all of us, that we're not stepping up to fix all the problems that she made. So, anyways, Mr. Not here at all. Mr. Not here at all. They say that we want to enslave women, but if we really wanted them to be enslaved, we would just do it. Yeah, we don't want to enslave you at all. Like at all. It's too much work. And we kind of prefer you guys free. Trust me, married dudes with their heads on straight know that you guys aren't hurting anything. I was an F boy once too. Yeah. And girls want you to be an F boy sometimes. They just need it. They need you to be a little selfish and a little like mean from time to time. Especially your wife. Your wife will eat it all up, right? They love that you're kind of like an F boy, but not all the time. You gotta balance your alpha side with the comfort beta side. Beta is not bad. You just can't lead with it. I've been going hard about those that choose to dunk on the red pill after using it for clout. Yeah, it's pretty pathetic. Like, oh, I'm not gonna use a red pill anymore. And I'm like, yeah, you are, dude. People that say they leave this space always come back. Oh, let's be red pill because it'll make money. And now it's like, oh, let's shit on the red pill because it'll make money. Yeah, pretty pathetic. But yes. Another prediction for 2024. I would say another prediction for 2024. The alpha fucks beta bucks chasm is going to widen. And what do I mean by that? Right. Past 2 years, going on dates, especially the past year, and female acquaintances and all that stuff. Was absolutely boggled at the amount of men throwing money at women for nothing in exchange. Right. I'm dating a girl right now where she had a student, and the student would take her out for dinner. She's a friendly gal. She teaches violin. She's, I think, a chain or a necklace or stuff like that, and take her out to dinner. And she said that to me, and I was like, "Hey, listen, like, that guy's not your friend. He's he's beta buxing his way into your heart because that's the only way he knows how to be attractive, right? Is by giving things to you, right? And this is a normal thing. She isn't like, obviously I like her, but she's not like a model. She's not like an OnlyFans model. She doesn't have like massive boobs or like BBL, or she's not like a BBL demon. She's like a normal nerdy Asian girl, and she's attractive to me. But like, um, this is men still throw money and gifts at her as a normal girl, right? I had a friend last year, was it last year? 2022. I had a friend, and she was a normal girl, like normal Puerto Rican girlfriend of mine, and she told us a story about how a crypto millionaire took her out on a date twice. And she went. It was a sugar date. Like there was a sugar dating site, and he went on there, and all that. And I'm just like, okay, like he had no charisma. He couldn't ask you out a normal way. And like, well, how would the date go? He's like, oh, on date, crying to me in his apartment. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Um, Meanwhile, she was like hooking up with one of my friends who was a military officer, big, strong, handsome looking guy, you know, brown skin. Handsome guy, look like Gaston, but Hispanic, right? And I'm just like, that dude did put in no effort. He just, and that's the thing. The alpha and the beta, they're going to congregate. Men, like the alpha men are gonna stay like that, and then the beta men are gonna stay like that, and women won't be able to settle with a man that has both. It'll be even more and more rare these days, right? Because you're gonna have the beta guys that got burned when they were younger, right? And they're like, hell no, I'm never doing that again. And they'll double down the alpha. They'll make lots of money. They'll become their mental point of origin. And then from that point on, they're like, hey, women are just getting worse. I see no reason to settle down. I'm gonna keep running through girls, right? And girls will like them because those men are attractive. And then the beta guys are gonna be like, no, I'm gonna double down on being a beta because I don't want to be like those alpha guys, right? Story is always time, but it's just gonna be more and more polarized. Like each side is gonna do their own thing and stay there. Very few guys are gonna jump from beta to alpha, and very few guys are gonna jump from alpha to beta. And very few guys, even fewer guys, are gonna find a happy medium for women, right? No, I'm trying to be like that. I doubled down too much on alpha best, but that's because I needed to be like that because I was casually dating, right? But I realized too, like if I if the beta I tone it down a little bit, then I can um what do you call it? I can down a little bit and make space for more comfort. Then girls will probably want to date me more. However, that's for a girl that I actually is in my frame, right? Um, excuse me. But for the most part, yeah, you don't. That's my big prediction. I said that on Rule Zero to the cast is like the alpha fucks beta buck stuff. It's just gonna get wider, more polarized, right? Like there's gonna be guys that are having sex and get this stuff um are gonna just have more of it. It's just gonna become easier, less effort, right? Whereas guys that are getting nothing are going to get even less. Guys that get laid twice a year are not going to get laid once a year. It's just that's my big prediction, and I see it in my daily life. Guys, the country's getting fatter, so there's more unattractive people. Um, More guys are going to get sucked into the political stuff and try to appease to be traditional women and be a better man and stronger man. Meanwhile, guys that always got laid are always going to figure it out, right? They're always going to figure it out and look at this stuff and be like, hey, how do I be better and do better in order to get what I want out of life. The most selfish guys, the guys that think about themselves first, and all that. So that's my other big prediction about 2024. And drag you off the path that you're on, right? Like don't, you know, people are slowly getting sucked in. All the brands, all the manosphere brands or whatever are gonna start becoming more political, like as predicted. Don't let that get you off your path. Women will still be women, whether they're baking a cake and they're traditional, or a girl that's you made at a club. They're all have the same hardwired kind of algorithms in their head. Like I said, plausible deniability is the name of the game with traditional women, right? They still have the need to get clout and male attention, right? So they have to find a way, and their way is like and it's hard for them because they have to walk a line, right? And if I'm too slutty, then everyone will call me out because the traditional ideology is that of conservatism and modesty. So they gotta be really careful, right? And women are all in on this. They understand that if they're going to be in this space with traditional conservative and Republican, that they have to walk a super thin line, right? And that thin line is thinner than the shirt that Isabella wore for cooking, baking. What I don't even remember where she was baking, right? Um, so let them be stressed about that. Assume, don't obsess. All women are promiscuous. It's not your problem or your job to prove otherwise. That's their job, right? The relationship is her problem. You're not here chasing relationships. You're out here chasing excellence, becoming better, stronger, smarter, or just caring less overall, just living your life the way you see fit. Whether that be improving every day or just chilling and working a job you like, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. And politics will definitely test your frame, right? They're going to want you to do things and say things and tweet things and act a certain way to support their political ideology. And if you want to, that's on you. That's because you want to, not because someone else said, right? Women will still be women. I've dated traditional women and I've dated slutty liberal women. They're the same thing. Remember, a woman's character isn't defined by her ideology. Women's character is defined by her character. You know, a lot of the times women put on the cross and all that stuff because it makes them feel a certain way, right? And they don't like that we call them out because it makes them feel bad. Understand that they're loyal to their feelings, right? And if right now she puts on a cross and cooks, and her goal is to get traditional men to pay attention to her, elevate her status within the traditional sphere, what do you call it, and eventually find a strong traditional hot guy that she could hook up with or get a relationship with. That's her goal. That was her goal. It backfired. She got the fame she wanted, but now she's being revealed as being not such a great person, whether it be plagiarism, whether it be doxing Rolo's family, whether it be, hey, selling her nudes to men online. Um, so all these things, it backfired, right? And that's why, guys, you need to be careful dealing with these people. These people are savages. These people get together on behind the scenes and they'll come after you, right? They'll dox you, they'll ruin your life because they don't care, right? Their reputation is so important that they don't care about the amount of lives that they destroy or ruin or make harder in their quest to protect the very thing that women value the most, and that is their ability to be hoes without being judged, right? There's three paths you guys got, right? Just three paths. You can be a blue pill idealist and defend women like this till the very end, whether it be online or in your real life or whatever space. You can be the guy that calls them out and be like, tries to hold them accountable. That's exhausting and it's going to get you nowhere and it's just going to get you mad and right back into your anger phase, right? Or you can look at this and be like, how do I benefit from this? Do I care that much? How do I win? And the way you win, guys, is just taking a step back, realize like it's not my problem. I don't care about her. I don't care about any women that's outside of my frame. You know, I care about my mom. I care about the couple girls that I see to an extent, as long as they are in my frame. Um, and I care about the people in my life. I don't care about women as a whole. It's not my problem, and it's not yours. So basically, that's where I stand with this stuff. Um, so I want you guys to really take away from this is that really it's all about being your own mental point of origin this year. Everyone's going to try to take you off the path of being who you want to be and doing what you want to do, right? Um, don't fall for it. You know, go vote. It's your right, but that's it. That's all you can do is vote. Unless you're willing to run for local office, unless you're willing to put up money for a campaign, unless you're willing to put your neck on the line for your political ideology, just vote. Maybe chit chat about it on Twitter a little bit, chit chat with your friends. But at the end of the day, focus on you, man. It's all about you. It's all about you. You must become your mental port of origin. Don't let the politics take you off the path. Don't let them shame you, right? And here's the funniest thing, guys. I, I shamed her all day on Twitter, and I got more followers. Hopefully, I'm reaching more people. And guess what? I don't shame the hoes in my personal life. So, and they're like, "Well, that's hypocritical." And I'm just like, "So, I don't care." Like I always say, I'm not a good man. And what do you got to say to that? Because your whole brand and your whole way of thinking is morality, and if you're not moral, you're a bad person. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm not a bad person. I'm a bad person. Now what? What are you gonna do? That's it. Conversation over. You win. I'm not a good person. I want to shame you and everything you do online and make you feel bad because I'm wordsmithing so I can get um attention, followers, or whatever, because I have a business to run, right? And I have to reach guys that need it. Um, but in my own personal life, most of the women I deal with are even sluttier than you. Some of them just as hot or hotter than you, and I don't shame them. And you know what we call that? We call that being your own mental point. I'm just doing what benefits me, right? If shaming women online benefits me, then I'll do it. If not shaming women in my personal life benefits me, I'll do it because you know what? I'm not stupid. I kind of know what I'm doing here, you know. So, um, so yeah. Uh, anyways, guys, that's pretty much what I have. You guys have any questions or anything? Anything you guys want to say? Any observations? Anything to add to this craziness? Just let me know. I'm all for it. Um, I don't think I got anything new that I made here in my brand, but yeah, remember that red pill loading screen from the other show? Like, it got flagged because I used the music that was copyrighted. Yeah, I'm getting copyright strikes, so I gotta be careful. But yeah, guys, it's very interesting year where it's gonna be, right? Don't get sucked into this stuff, or else you'll lose your mind, and you don't want that. So, um, all right, guys, I think it's getting kind of late, and I'm going to wrap the stream up. I appreciate you guys' time and being here and all that stuff, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. You guys know where to find me. Hold on, I got a question. Soji Q, Nuke, what does it mean to be a man? How would you respond to a question like this? What does it mean to be a man? Oh man, not this question. What does it mean to be a man? Just action. I would just say it all boils down to action. Like, that's it. Women are human beings and men are human doings. Like, whatever you do is, men are characterized by problem solving and stuff like that, as driven by our testosterone and our want to protect and provide. That's basically it. That's all. You know, that's why we operate differently from women, because women, all they can do is shame other men to do their bidding, because that's how they got men to do stuff back in the caveman days. Whereas men, we went out and did things. So thanks for the question, though. Appreciate your reasonable mindset with these topics. Hey man, yeah, I'm here to, like, kind of, like this. The red pill is not here for your entertainment. If there's one resolution you have this year, is try to make the red pill, no, don't make the red pill your entertainment, right? Watch anime, watch a World War II movie, play some piano, hang out with friends, but don't make the red pill your entertainment, right? Red pill is getting out of freaking hand right now, or the people that, like, talk about this stuff are getting out of hand, right? Like, I just saw whatever podcast invite all these influencers and Rolo to come bake cakes. How does that help anyone? It's entertainment, right? How does some guy going on a podcast shaming women because of anyone? You know, we already talked about this in the article. Hey, if you know a woman's a slut, don't judge her. Women having a slut get tainted because you sleep with a promiscuous woman, right? It's not gonna happen. Enjoy her, have fun, but you're not gonna get tainted. You know, complicated. They want to make it something that it's not. And it was never about the country. It was never about save the West. It was simply this: how do I improve my life? How do I get a positive sexual identity and in the current landscape, right? Whether that be a guy who's married and gets, and their wife is still in love with them and wants to have sex with them, whether a guy is spinning plates, and I'll say it every episode and I'll say it every day. Like, that is what it is. It's literally that simple. It's nothing else than that. Anything outside of that is not the red pill, right? Um, there's people that will purposefully never understand and read about what it is because their brand depends on it. There's people that understand what it is and they'll say it's wrong anyway because it makes them feel icky. There's guys that don't understand this stuff, take it in, apply it to their marriage, and run away. Like, just forget it. Like, forget about the space. They already got the tools they need. And there's guys um that would become red pill evangelists, and they want to, like, talk about this stuff to all their friends and family and all that stuff. And it gets a little cringe, and you push people away, you push girls away, and all that stuff. And there's guys that are just like, hey, I went a little too hard with dating, and I learned so much. Let me at least share notes publicly. Maybe I'll help somebody, and that's me. So, I appreciate you for watching and taking the time out of your day to watch me. So, quick Nuke before you go. How's Outlaw Star been? Oh, it's good, dude. It's a '90s anime. What else can I say? It's a '90s space pirate anime. Um, it's great. It's very masculine. It's like all the characters are cool characters and likable. I always said that anime is the only entertainment where there's a positive identity for both men and women, right? Um, Women are allowed to be comic relief and look foolish and stupid, you know. Um, Men are allowed to take charge and be masculine and be sacrificial, you know. Women are allowed to be sexy and hot, but also smart, but also like fall in love and be feminine, you know. Men are like the men range from being perverts to being, you know, players, to being strong warriors to being good businessmen to being evil to being good, right? There isn't like this whole thing where men are just useless. Like it's the only kind of entertainment I see that is has a positive identity for everyone, right? And when I say positive, I mean like, hey, men are all these things, but so can women be, right? Like Outlaw Star, the anime, the woman, the cat lady, she's the comic relief. She is made to be look stupid in almost every scene, right? You can't do that in American media, right? And we all know how goofy women can be sometimes. So it's like, um, it's really refreshing. Gene Starwood in the show, in the beginning, he hooks up with a girl that's also a normal character, a badass character, right? So, in American media, um, the main character is like, if he's a guy, he's lost, and the girl has to protect him, and she's a know-it-all, and she's perfect, and you know she's a Mary Sue, but in Outlaw Star, she is kind of like that, but like Gene Starwood hooks up with her, you know, and that's like really like a normal thing is what happens, you know. He's an alpha, she's attractive, they hooked up. I'm like, yeah, I can believe that's believable, you know. Um, and um, you know, Gene Starman is portrayed as like a cool, like kind of like a Han Solo type character, but also he's kind of like, you know, he's kind of pervy. Like he saw Melfina laying naked and he wanted to touch her thigh, you know, and you saw like his pervert face. They drew like a pervert face on him, you know, in that scene. I think it was episode 2, but like that's believable, right? Because even me, you know, I'm a little bit of a, you know, I look at women, I look at women at the gym a little too long, and I was like, man, that's a nice ad. I'm like, yeah, I connect with this guy because I too like women, and I too sometimes stare at women a little too long. But that's okay because that's part of being a man. It's okay to be a man. It's not a bad, you know. But overall, it's such a great anime. I highly recommend it. 90s space anime, like space pirate anime. What else? What else do you want, right? Um, Maybe I'll cosplay as Gene Starwin one day because he's kind of brown ish. I don't know. I just have to do the makeup here or something, but yeah. Highly recommend, guys. Um, Outlaw Star was great. Magic, watching the pirates doing weird mages and outlaws being weird witchers. The mythos just blows things up. Yeah, it's just a masculine guys. Like anime is made for you. That's the great part. Like I'm watching One Piece right now. I'm watching other animes, and I'm just like, man, this stuff is like made for me. I love this stuff. This is like me. Like it's like my inner child is just like, dude, you've been watching all these Star Wars and Marvel movies. Now you're finally back where you belong, you know? It's like watching Lord of the Rings all over again, where you watch it and you're just like, wow, this was really made for me. Like, this was made for men with healthy testosterone levels. This is amazing. So, yeah. Any other questions, guys? Let me know. Put my link tree in the chat. All right. So that's my link tree, guys. If you want to follow me on my socials and all that stuff. And I'll go ahead and head out. Let you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Remember, guys, ultimately, I said what I needed to say. You guys know what's coming. You know, careful with the language. She's not your girl. You're sorry. She's not your partner. She's your girl. She's not your partner. She's your wife. She's not your partner. She's your side chick. She's not your partner. She, you know, she's your fiance. You know, don't let the language seep into your life. Um, be more conscious of that, and don't let politics suck you in and take you off the path and make you think that like you're in charge of saving this country. That's not your problem. Um, and um, remember to use that plausible deniability. You know, women are not here to lead you. Women are not here to solve your problems. Are not here to make your life better. Do not take seriously what the gods made for fun. And with that, my friends, I leave you behind. It's been real. You guys have a good night.